You have different types of NAND and different grades of NAND within the same categories as well. So you have SLC, which can accommodate only 1 bit per cell. That means one piece of data, either a 0 or a 1. We're talking binary code here. So either a 0 or a 1 in one single cell. Then you have multi-level cells, types of NAND, which can accommodate 2. Triple level cell can accommodate 3, and quadri-level cell can accommodate 4. So basically it's all linked to the endurance of these cells. You need to think of it like, imagine a massive building with a lot of cells that are identical, and then you want to put some people in there. These are the bits of these are your bits of data. You put one person in a cell. This person will not argue with anyone. Perfect, nice and chill. They're fantastic and can stay there for long. You start to put 2 people in that cell. They may have some arguments at some point, there may be some problems. You put 3 people, even worse. 4 people, even worse. And the things that you use in this cell will wear out quicker because you have more people using those facilities, for example. Since this is related to the endurance, basically a single level cell will last longer and have more endurance than a quadri-level cell generally. But then, as I said before, you have different types of NAND. You have enterprise grade NAND and you have consumer grade NAND. So this does not always mean that a quadri-level cell will last shorter than a single level cell. There's always a balance how you use the NAND. You can also program, for example, a triple level cell to work as a single level cell. So that will be a CSLC, pseudo single level cell. So there's all these sorts of decisions that need to be made beforehand when choosing what NAND you put in a storage device.
What companies need to work out is what their workload is. If it's video and post-production, they're doing a lot of editing, then I'm assuming you need like an SLC or a TLC, and then work out how many drives you're going to be doing and drive writing and everything else. So, and that's often overlooked.
It's often overlooked. That's true, and that's where we come. That's where my role, for example, is there for. So I'm there to help customers make the right decision. Now, it's not just about SLC, TLC, MLC, QLC. It's not just that, because based on the different type of NAND, you can have a TLC that has great endurance. This happens. Our enterprise drives, for example, they're not all SLC, because you wouldn't need that. That's also much more expensive. So it's always about finding the right balance. For enterprise grade drives, the Kingston ones, we always advertise the drive write per day value. It tells you how long the drive will last over its and how much you can write into the drive over its life cycle. So this can really help you make the right decision. If you need to replace a number of drives, you want to pick the one with the drive write per day value that suits your workload.
For example, if you've got a 2.5-inch SSD with SLC chips in it, that is going to be a smaller capacity than maybe a similar drive with QLC, but you've got to weigh up whether you want drive writes per day or you want capacity. That's what it boils down to, is longevity or or capacity.
It's always about that, the price, longevity, capacity, because of course SLCs, they will use more physical space on the PCB because you need more chips, because in those famous cells, in the building that we mentioned before, if you can put only one person in each cell, then you have less bits. If you can put 4 people in the same cell, then you have more capacity, but lower